the first to know. Nsem-Pii.
10 major questions for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. If lawyer Paul Admochiri, for is going to blow your mind. Lawyer Paul Admochiri, eternal in some of the two says, or share the echo soup. Not His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I now say, Yamar Mechina, and you by 8 p.m. Obey meet the press and also meet the nation. Now, what availing himself for questions? Now, lawyer pause. These 10 questions there, I saw it me answer. Now, shall say from one a tear for just say a mood. If you was what him say, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Echo Tarawar, or starting with the 10 churches, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama said, what building for the service of God? A tear for. Or the trust with a seeding get here. Now, over dinner, the question in the line of question, it's here for a baby. Nanya Nungwa Okudzeto Ablakwa. Eh, they didn't see. I didn't see. Refugees. Now, over Kaya, Royal Portuguese Emrana, or yet the ranking member for foreign affairs, with me call country and to call SCC. Russia, Ukraine, honum. Eko catcher almost say, on a bound to Mama NDC. They say, Ubai, here, Northern Regional, His Excellency, John Dramani Mahama, Chochum Chufo, Nimcrofo, not a sem at Woma, or what you Quacotana Cote d'Ivoire. What me go Saram, Uncle Hoda, Ade, and to go see the whole Ghana. So, Washington Regional, Ejo, so called Greater Accra, Ejo, or called Bruno Ejo. Usane bas ya baby ajo timu enye baby ankampo mo dan la Côte d'Ivoire amama kwa refugees we shame on you and you already we are lawyer Paul what team na oya tifo we crabisho what timra
before going to ask questions was awkward for Akufados I could never attend because in the back room we were part of just what question is coming, what answer should be given, and we enjoyed those moments. So when the press conference came, I'll always be behind. I will not show up over there. I'm not going to be at the press conference tomorrow, but I do have 10 questions for President Mahama to consider, and I'm going to share with you now. Now, though, let me take you all the way to the Osu Castle. This was 2009, and this was Paul Adomochiri, a reporter with Metro TV, asking...
Return to the Alfred Woyome matter, okay. And I would like some education from you. It is said that your Attorney General, your principal legal advisor, has a writ in court seeking to set aside a judgment that Mr. Woyome benefited from. And you have also directed Iyoko to have a look at the matter. Is there not a conflict of the two actions, as the Attorney General is your principal legal advisor? And do you share the view of the Attorney General that this judgment has to be set aside? Thank you.
Well, I do not blame the people of Ghana for being concerned about this case. Indeed, all of us are yearning for the time when all the facts will be made available. That is the reason why I have referred the matter to Iyoko. When Iyoko submits a report, I can assure you that whatever action has to be taken will be taken. President does not have the power to ask his minister to make any payment except what is approved in the budget. And of course, when you have a judgment date, these are paid as a matter of course. So if you have a judgment from a competent court, the Minister of Finance does not have to seek the President's permission to pay. Indeed, if he decides not to pay, to decide to delay, the person, the complainant, can take the matter back to court. But my brothers and sisters, Atta Mills has been Commissioner of Internal Revenue for 8.5 years. I know how the revenue agencies struggle to get the money for the good people of this country. I have been vice president, and I've been president for 3 years. I know it is criminal, irresponsible, the height of naivety for a president to call his Minister of Finance and say, pay this man this. I don't know where it is then. Perhaps those who are accusing me of having given directives to the Minister of Finance to pay this amount, perhaps they know something which I don't know.
Oh, Prof. May he rest in peace. But you saw some interesting photos of some of the old guards. Benjamin Kumbo, my former lecturer, I saw him in there. In those days, I believe he was Attorney General or was Minister for Interior, something like that. Anyway, now, producer, let's file this one. Viewers, here are 10 questions for President Mahama that we believe he should be asked tomorrow. We are going to share them with you now. And for the journalists who are attending, please remember that you have Ghanaian journalism. After the press conference, there's going to be a lot of analysis. Let's not solid. But here are 10 questions that you can look at and grapple with, 10 it upside down, however you want. And perhaps if you get the opportunity, you may ask. Question number 1. Mr. President, the 10 churches that is claimed you built for the Assemblies of God Church, was it with state funds or was it with your personal funds? That's question number 1 for President Mahama tomorrow. Question number 2. Mr. President, tomorrow. Question number 2. Mr. President, Johnson Asiedun Ketia argues that a state of emergency is not the way to go to address Galamsey, which is contrary to the position taken by the NDC during opposition. Do you agree with your party chairman, Johnson Asiedun Ketia, that you cannot give a state of emergency in the Galamsey areas? That's question number 2. Question number 3 for the President of Ghana. Mr. President, the United States has now cut Ghana off the MCC. Will you now redeploy Mr. Alexander Mould to another office? That's a soft question. So if you have to drop one question, you can drop. That's a soft question. We are just asking about what the MCC will be doing now that the Americans are not dealing with that situation. All right. Question number 4. Mr. President, over the last 8 months, which minister would you term as the best performing and which will you term as the worst performing among the following ministers? Minister for Justice, the Attorney General, Minister for Energy, Minister for Communications, Minister for Foreign Affairs, and the Minister for Health. I give the list of ministries again from which we are asking the President to choose the best and the worst. Justice and Attorney General, Energy and Renewable something, Communications, Sam George, Foreign Affairs, Ablakwa, or Health, Minta Akando. That's the one that we used to answer the questions in primary school. Take the odd one out. Shade the odd one out. Which one will the president take? We'll see that. We'll hear that from him when the press conference comes. Question number 5. In terms of having press conferences, you seem to have always conducted your first press conference quite late as compared to other presidents. What is the reason for this? Do you want to gather all or more information before you do your press conference? Now, the meaning of this question is that we have looked at all the other former presidents of the Fourth Republic who did press conferences, starting with Kufuor. Kufuor did his press conference in the first 100 days. Professor Mills had his press conference in April. Nana Akufo-Addo has his press conference in July. During the first administration of President Mahama, he actually had his press conference the following year after his inauguration. He was sworn in January 2013. He had his press conference 1 year, January 2014. This time, he's having his press conference 8-9 months down the line. The question is, why does he take so long to have the press conference? All right, the first press conference. Question number 6. Following the unfortunate helicopter crash, there has been a conversation about purchase of a new presidential jet. Has the Ghana Air Force advised you to initiate the purchase of a new presidential jet? That's the question for the president. You didn't add, producer, that Sami Okudzeto said that the presidential jet currently there is in pristine condition until 2030. So our question to the president is that Okudzeto having said that the presidential current jet is in pristine condition until 2030, which doesn't come, it comes even after the next election. Has the Ghana Air Force advised His Excellency John Mahama to get a new presidential jet? That's a question for the president. Okay. Question number 7. Mr. President, there is a conflict in Boku now. It seems you campaigned and posited that one of the heads of the faction was the legitimate chief of Boku. Do you think the current disturbances are as a result of that act of yours? That is asking the president a direct question. That during the campaign, you said there was a legitimate chief in Boku, and now there's conflict. Do you think that your saying so may have occasioned the conflict? Question number 8. Mr. President, How will you fund the 4 billion 24-hour economy project now that funding has been withdrawn by the MCCE? Now, the reason why we link MCCE to that is MCCE was giving us some money to do certain things. Now they are not there again, especially in terms of agriculture. We may have to find our own money for that. Whilst you are finding your money for that, Augustus Guzitano and his team said that you need 4 billion to begin and actualize the vision of 24-hour economy. So the question to the president is that, where are we on the 24-hour economy? Now we know we need 4 billion. Now we have some 100 million that was coming that we now need to cough it up ourselves. In all of these circumstances, where are you going to find a free 4 billion to initiate the vision of the 24-hour economy? That's the question for the president. Question number 9, and this is a very, very, very controversial one. Question number 9 for the president. Mr. President, Kwabena Edubuahin mentioned in his letter to the National Security Secretariat that he had handed over some money to the NDC to aid in their election results coalition capacity. There was even an allusion to a meeting between the late Dr. Mani Boama and Kwabena Edubuahin. Mr. President, can you confirm that you received some monies from the National Security Secretariat during the campaign as alluded to by Kwabena Edubuahin in his letter to the National Security Coordinator? That's a very controversial and very touchy question to the president because it's asking him to divulge national security secrets. But if the question comes, let's see how the president will deal with it. Question number 10. Last one. During the period that Ghana cedi was gaining value against the dollar, the prices of goods were not commensurate with the currency trend. Could the Bank of Ghana have done anything to avert this? That's a question for the president again. I don't know whether he's going to have his ministers lined up. I guess they will be there. So if they will be there, this is a question for Case Latufosen. Viewers, if you have some questions to add to my 10 questions, please send it to us on our social media page, Good Evening Ghana Official, and then we can deal. That we believe he should be asked tomorrow. We are going to share them with you now. And for the journalists who are attending, please remember that you are flying the flag of Ghanaian journalism. After the press conference, there's going to be a lot of analysis. Let's not let people come and say that, oh, the journalist couldn't ask any sensible question. Oh, the journalist, sometimes we hear that. Sometimes we hear that the journalists ask sensible questions. Let's have on the average 90%, 95% of the questions coming in the evening. Very, very, very soon. When COVID-19 was peaking, Okudzeto wanted governments to bring in Ghanaians in China. During the Russia-Ukraine war, he went to Ukraine at a point to engage the Ghanaian students, all as ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament. Now, he is the Foreign Affairs Minister. Thank God. We have over 14,000 displaced citizens, with many becoming refugees in Ivory Coast. One would have thought that now that he has the power, he will quickly go to Ivory Coast to visit them, especially when the people are from the president's hometown. That is a very serious matter. A foreign minister who in opposition can travel to Ukraine, that he is going to commiserate with Ghanaian students who are there because some war has broken, a very important bad war has broken out. This is Okudzeto Ablakwa with Ukraine students. 2nd March 2022, he went to Ukraine to go and talk to Ghanaian students who had been arranged by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as the ranking member, to go and talk to them and told them that they should vote for NDC because NPP people are corrupt, that they are thieves. So they should vote for NDC. That's what Ablakwa told the students. You see how he's smiling here? How can it be that the Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa is foreign minister today? 13,000 Ghanaians have been displaced in next door Cote d'Ivoire. We have not seen a single statement from him. A single one. Not a single statement from the Honorable Foreign Minister. We haven't seen a single statement from him. Not one statement from him about the fact that people have been displaced. But why? Parliament is not in session. But an urgent question should be written for the Foreign Minister based on his past record of having the courtesy to go to Ukraine and visit Ghanaians. And now he is Foreign Affairs Minister. He has one deputy. He has chief directors. He has the Jubilee House. This is about the president's hometown. There's also about Boku. They have crossed over. As the Interior Minister said, we would have thought that we see the Acting Minister for Defense, the Foreign Minister, the Minister for Environment, and the Minister for Lands going in there to go and see those refugees and bring them to Ghana. Because a large part of Ghana is peaceful. But the foreign minister didn't do that. He is sitting in Accra. He's at Kwesi Pratt's book launch. Then he's here. Then he's there. He is not going to solve the problem of the ordinary Ghanaians, most of whom, if you look at that geographic area, most of whom must have voted for the National Democratic Congress. This is not correct. And we can't let it pass. Even at the fear of being arrested, we can't let it pass. We can't let it pass. How can the foreign minister ignore the people? We don't have the power to go there. The foreign minister can marshal the armed forces and drop a helicopter in there and go and see them and let the people feel that Ghana has not forgotten about them. It is very, very important that those people feel that Ghana has not forgotten about them and that we are sitting in Ghana, southern Ghana, middle belt Ghana, because we are fine. We are eating our kwekpele as we did recently for Homowo. We are eating our fufu and we are having our social events. We are doing funeral here, funeral there, and they have been left behind. They are in another person's country and nobody is minding them. We can't have that. So please, Ablakwa, this is for you. You can't continue to do that. Go to Ivory Coast and bring our people back home. They deserve to be here. There are plenty places we can keep them. In Accra and Kumasi and Takoradi, there are places you can find for them. This is a strong republic. This is independent Ghana. The other day, you wrote a letter to a foreign senator and he said that this is Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana. Have you seen Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana where refugees are in Cote d'Ivoire and we can't bring them home? And as foreign minister, you say absolutely nothing about it to the general public? Nothing at all? We don't see you do what you did when you were in opposition. For which reason people voted for you? Have you abandoned the cause? Because now you are an international diplomat and you are sipping champagne in Rome and you are sipping champagne in Milan. Is that what you are doing? And therefore you have abandoned the ordinary Ghanaians who put you there? These are questions for Ablakwa. Oh, it's 10:27. Let me leave it here. I need to get to the president's 10 questions.